All right, what's up, my friends? We are back cooking in my kitchen, and in this video, we're going to make a simple pasta meat sauce recipe. So right here are the ingredients. Like I said, this is very simple. So of course we have some pasta. This is called fusilli pasta. We've got an onion, some garlic, a carrot, some tomatoes, and some ground beef that I forgot to take out of the fridge. So these are the ingredients. Like, it's going to be a very simple pasta meat sauce recipe. So let's get started. All right, where do we begin? Right, so what I want to do first is I want to kind of boil these tomatoes, and then it will be really easy to take the skin off once they're boiled. So I'm going to turn my stove on, crank that up to 9, get it boiling quick as possible. And actually, these tomatoes were given to me by a friend from her garden. And yeah, so I'm excited to cook them. I think they're really fresh and delicious. Now, since we want the water to boil quickly, I'm going to put the lid on that pot. All right, so now let's prepare the ingredients. By the way, guys, right now we're preparing an online community where you can not only learn conversational English, but also actually practice speaking it with feedback. In this community, you'll get a clear path to take you from beginner to intermediate with lessons and real conversations, an English environment with a supportive community to ask questions and just talk about daily life, and most importantly, you'll get actual speaking practice with other learners and feedback from me and my team. So, join the waitlist now to make sure you get your spot. The link is in the description below. Okay, let's get back to the video. So for this meat sauce, there's going to be some meat, of course, some ground beef with onion. And full disclosure, guys, I have never actually made this recipe before. I just watched a YouTube video about an hour ago to learn how to make it. And I think I got it. I think it should be okay. So right now I'm cutting the onions in half. That sizzling sound is from heating up the pot. But yeah, so they say the way to cut the onion, you cut it in half, you leave the root part intact, take off the skin. We might just need only half of this onion. So now that we have this, I'm going to slice it down like that. So right now, I'm just slicing the onion. Then one more time down there, down the middle. It's probably stressing you out to watch this. I don't blame you. All right, now I'm gonna dice the onion. Told you guys, I'm not a chef, but I do my best. So yeah, I just cut most of the onion, and my eyes are fine. Not really watering, not too bad. All right, so that will definitely be enough onion for this sauce. So I'm gonna go and put this onion in a bowl. So right now I'm putting the onion in a bowl. And that onion, we could say, is chopped or diced. Either one is okay. Okay, now it's starting to get to my eyes. Oh, yeah, I thought I was okay, but not quite. I actually, before I had a pair of goggles up here, like actually a pair of goggles for when I used to cook a lot. Let's see if they're still here. No, I think I put them somewhere else, but I had like swimming goggles to use when I cut onions. Because I used to cook with a lot of onions and it actually worked, believe it or not. You look really stupid, but at least your eyes don't water, right? Okay. So we only need half the onion, so I'm going to put the other half over there. And we also want some carrots. And for these carrots, I'm going to dice them up into small pieces. Okay, so now we've got the carrot peels. I'm gonna put that in the garbage. Cut off the end. And for carrots, I usually just cut them in half, like this. And then cut it 3-way here. This might actually... What? The Okay, you guys probably want to see T, so... Hey T, what's up? What, dude? I'm cooking. I'm making a video. I'll feed you soon, okay? Oh, hello there. Hey guys, what's up? I guess when I'm cooking, I don't know, they probably smell my food and they want to eat it. So, back to these carrots. Yeah, these pieces are too big, to be honest. Let's do a little smaller. So, by the way, guys, I didn't prepare too much for this video in the sense of I haven't cooked this dish ever in my life. And lately, I have not been cooking too much. I've been a bit lazy in ordering food, so my cooking skills are a little bit rusty. All right, as we can see, the water is boiling, so let's turn this down. So I'm going to put the potatoes in the water for about 5 minutes. I think that's probably a bit too hot. Let's turn the fan on. Not sure exactly how many tomatoes I need, but just put them in there. I'd rather have too many than too little. So let's just pop all those in there. Now I'm not using, so I'm going to set a timer here for about 4 minutes. So I'm not using pre-made tomato sauce. I'm making the tomato sauce from scratch, and honestly, I've never done that before. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. In YouTube videos, they always make it look so easy, right? It's like, oh, you know, just cook this, throw that in there, cook it for 10 minutes, and you're good. But reality, it's not always that easy. Doing some carrots in the sauce. You don't have to put carrots in a meat sauce, but it gives it some vegetables and a little bit of heartiness, as they say. Okay, I'm gonna take this mixing bowl. It's already used. Put it up here. All right, so far we have our onions and carrots. So now I'm going to chop up the garlic. When I look at the onions again, I'm not sure if it is enough. We might need more. I might need to cut the other half. Because when you cook onions, they get a lot smaller, right? Now, I love garlic, so I think I'll use about 4 cloves. Now, for garlic, I normally just cut off the ends like this. And then give them a good smash. Okay, so once the garlic is peeled, cut it up. Ooh. It's got the green thing in there. That's not good. So this time I'm going to take that out. Pretty sure I remember that the green part in the inside of the garlic is, if it's like either toxic or it's the spicy part. Can't really remember. Either way, if I eat it or not, I don't think it's gonna kill me, so should be okay. But I think what it means is that the garlic, maybe it was at the supermarket for quite a while. Okay, time is up for the tomatoes. So now I'm going to take the tomatoes out with the, I forget what this is called, so I'll say the word in post. So as you can see here, the skin is just falling off the tomatoes now. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Got a bunch of tomatoes right there. I'm going to let those cool. Oh my gosh, that is super hot. Just gonna leave that there. All right, because yeah, those are a bit too hot for me to deal with right now. So I'm going to wait a bit and then I will take the skin off like this. All right, so now I've separated the onion, the minced garlic, and the carrots. So now I'm going to take the tomatoes and just take the skin off. They're still quite hot, but I'm kind of impatient. So what I will do here is I will hold it with a fork and just cut off the ends. There you go. I think that should be good. Yeah. Now I'm starting to wonder if the tomato sauce needs to be made with a certain type of tomato, because these don't have quite as much like juice as the ones in the video, but we'll see what happens when I actually cook it. There was a funny meme where it shows a guy like, where it shows them where there's a funny meme where it shows a guy, he's cooking, and after every time he like touches something like this, then he has to do the little thing with his fingers. He's got to clean off his fingers, you know? That's pretty much me. I do that a lot. Let's do a nice clean, oh yeah. Get the peel off in one go. Okay. Now, the tomatoes are peeled. So now what we want to do is we want to slice the tomatoes into small pieces. I think these should be good, actually. May have cooked them a little bit too long, but it doesn't really make a difference. Now they're just quite mushy, so they're harder to handle. Okay. I think this will be very good. I'm feeling optimistic about this, guys. At first I was a little bit concerned, but I think this will be good. Still got a hard chunk in there. Let's take that out. Yeah, definitely they shouldn't be this mushy when you cut it, but oh well. This is an English show, not a cooking show, right? If it was a cooking show, well, I don't know, I think I'd be fired. Oh yeah, look at all that tomato juice. That's good. That should be enough. Getting kind of lazy now with the cutting, as you can see. All right, guys, the tomatoes have been prepared to be turned into a sauce. And it's already starting to look like a sauce, so that's good. Okay, next step is the beef. So, I'm going to cut this open. And I wanted to get a bit more ground beef because there's going to be a lot of sauce, but this is all they had. But before I do that, oh my gosh, do you see what I mean, guys? Like, I'm a bit of a mess right now. Okay, let's turn that on to about 7. This pan is a stainless steel pan, so it doesn't take too long to heat up. It's faster than the non-stick. And as you guys can see, I have this thing up now, and this like blocks the grease from splattering everywhere, so it keeps the kitchen nice and clean. Dump some of this water. This carrot can go in the fridge. We don't need this anymore. I'm gonna dump this. All right, so for the beef, I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil here. So there's some olive oil. And then I'm gonna put the beef in. So I'm gonna put a little bit of beef in first just to test it. Oh, I think it's good to go. I'm gonna dump all that beef in. Goes in the garbage. Going to let that beef cook a little bit. Now in this beef, we're going to have some pepper, some salt, I love pepper. So we're gonna have some salt, pepper. Throw the onions on. So we want all that flavor to get into the beef. And I'm going to throw some salt on there as well. Now, I always want to be careful with the salt because you can put it in, but you can't take it out, right? Okay, what was I going to do? Oh yeah. So now I'm going to prepare the water to boil the pasta. Yeah, definitely not enough beef, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, along with, so we also want to get some oregano in there. I think I'll just put the rest of what I have. That's going to be for the whole sauce. So guys, this pasta is called fusilli, like I said. And when we cook pasta, when it's cooked right, we call it al dente, something like that. And this one takes about 7 minutes to cook it to al dente. So yeah, you don't want to cook it too long or it'll get too soft, too short, it's too hard. So we want to get the time right. All right, so now got the beef cooking. So I'm not a big fan of this because I want it to be a little hotter. So that's why I turned it to 8. I don't want it to get like that kind of boring gray color, but I think that's what might happen because it's cooking in its own moisture. It's kind of like boiling, basically. And so I'm cooking the meat first because I want to get kind of a nice color on the meat and give it a good flavor. And then after the meat is cooked, I'm going to separate it and then I'm going to cook the sauce. Smells pretty good. Throw the garlic in now. Oh yeah, that garlic smells amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the heat down. So this meat and the onions and the garlic, this is where a lot of the flavor is. Because when I cook this, the tomatoes with the carrot, this isn't going to have too much flavor. But when we add the meat into there and mix it up, then it should have quite a bit of flavor. That's the idea, anyway. So now I'm going to cook the onion until it's kind of like translucent. Translucent means that you can like see through it. It's like no color. So you can see here it's starting to get a little bit translucent. So I'm gonna open this a bit to try to get more light on the dish so you can see it. So as you can see on the bottom, starting to get that like brown stuff, and that has a lot of flavor in it. So then when we cook the tomatoes, it'll pick up all that flavor. Okay, so I think this is ready to go. I'm gonna turn off the hot water for the pasta. Okay. Looks not bad, eh? All right, so now we have that brown stuff. Flavor, let's pour the tomatoes on there. Ooh, they have a beautiful color. Okay, so now I'm gonna cook the tomatoes until they get nice and soft. So normally you would also want to add a bunch of spices into here too, but I don't have any spices, unfortunately, except for the one that I just used. And they're kind of hard to find in Vietnam. Like at the regular supermarket, they don't have the spices you need for this type of food, like oregano, dried basil. You have to plan ahead and order it from another store. So I don't have those, unfortunately. But next time, I will do my best to have those. Now, I remember in my last cooking video, I told you guys a story about my granddad, because he was born and raised in Sicily and he came to Canada, and he used to cook a lot of really good Italian food. And his pasta sauce was, to this day, the best pasta sauce I've ever had. It was made from tomatoes that he grew in his garden, and all different vegetables from his garden as well, and it was just so good. So it's definitely not as good as his, but should be okay. So I'm going to let that cook for about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to keep the lid off so some moisture can get out. I don't think it will take too long to soften up. Oh, I forgot the carrots. Cool. So I just made a mistake, because the plan was to cook the tomato and then blend it and then add the carrots. So they were like chunky. But now I've added the carrots, so they're gonna get blended in with the tomatoes. So, oops. I don't know why my cats are meowing so much. I guess my food just smells that good, you know? Okay, so the sauce is coming along. I'm gonna just take off the lid and let more moisture go out because it's quite watery. We want it nice and thick. And instead of saying moisture go out, we could say let the moisture evaporate. Evaporate. And this is the blender we're going to use. This is called a hand blender for obvious reasons. You just hold it in your hand. And this tool is really good for making things like soups and like Indian curries, like whatever thing is kind of a soupy texture. These are really good at making them. So I'm going to let this cook a little bit more before I blend it. All right, so now let's do the fun part. So now I'm going to blend this soup. So it might actually be easier to put this in a cup first. It's just not quite enough. I was kind of lazy and I didn't want to have to use something else, but might have to. Oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? So now, oh, come on, come on. Well, I think, because now it's kind of hard to get it in there, from there into there. Oh boy. So guys, one of the reasons why I don't do too much research before doing this is because I figure it'll be more entertaining to watch me struggle with with this. So I hope you're enjoying this. Because when things go perfectly, it's just not as interesting, right? But hey, like this is still pretty much working. I'd say it's almost blended. Whatever. So I think that's good enough. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Too hot. All right. Take it off. All right. So not exactly the smoothest process, but I mean, doesn't look too bad. I'm going to turn this down to about 2. Still a few pieces here and there, but it'll give it some texture. So now let's prepare the pasta. So usually I eat about 150 grams of it. You know me with my weighing. Kind of OCD, but it's better than wasting, right? Okay, we got 150 right there. So let's bring this water back to a boil. And while we wait for the water to boil and then cook the pasta, I'm going to add the beef into the sauce and let the flavors kind of seep out. All right, done that. Let's mix that up. Yeah, I think maybe the carrot gave it a bit of an orange. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces that haven't been blended, but that's okay. The carrot gave it a bit of an orange color. Let's mix that in like that. And I'm going to just let this simmer. And simmering is when it's like not boiling, but like you see a few bubbles come up, like So it's not too hot, but the water is evaporating and it's getting thicker. I'm just gonna let that simmer for a bit. Something about this doesn't look very good. I think there might be too much sauce. Okay, so the water's boiling. Let's add the pasta. And remember, we want it to be al dente. So we're gonna wait for 7 minutes. 7 minutes, there you go. And now we can wash the dishes. I don't think you want to watch that, so I'll just skip this part. And to be honest, I don't really mind washing dishes. It's like when I see a lot of dishes in the sink, then I don't want to wash them. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. But when I start washing them, then just, it's not that bad. You kind of start to relax and think about different things. Like washing dishes is a pretty good time to just kind of think about your day and reflect and just have kind of like those thoughts that you would have in the shower or when you ride your motorbike. I don't know about you guys, but when I ride the motorbike, like that's when I go into like deep thoughts, you know, either in the shower or driving. Okay, so let's check up on the sauce. Still looking okay. Got about 3 minutes left on the pasta. So this is simmering, right? So the way it's bubbling like this, it's just simmering. All right, so there's 1 minute left on the pasta. Now, what they usually do is when they pour out the water, they'll keep a little bit, and when I say they, I don't know who's they, just people doing cooking videos on YouTube. But when they pour out the water, the pasta water, they will keep a little bit of it. And again, it's called pasta water. And then you put it in your bowl of pasta. So, for example, take this, pour some of the water out, keep that water, and then just pour out the rest of the water. And then after you pour out the water, I probably should have tried the pasta before I pulled it out. But 7 minutes, so it should be okay. Oh yeah, al dente. So then after you pour out the water, you want to pour in some cold water so it doesn't continue to cook. So it doesn't get too soft and ruin the pasta. So I'm pouring in this water now to cool the pasta down so it stops cooking. And now I'm just going to pour all this water out again. So there is our pasta, cooked al dente. There's our pasta water. Got a little bit of the herbs in it because I used this thing from the sauce and I put it in the pasta. That's why it... Anyway. Okay. So now before I put the sauce in with the pasta, I want to try the sauce. Make sure that there is enough salt in it, which there probably isn't yet. So always taste before, alright? Hold on, let me take this off. Needs way more salt. There's like no salt in there. So, and I admit I do like to eat on the salty side, but this is absolutely saltless. So let's mix that up. Probably going to need even more. And when something doesn't have any flavor, you could say it's bland. So this is very bland right now. Okay, let's try it again. Better, but still need some more salt. Let's mix in the salt. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of sugar. So I think it looks good. It kind of looks like a real meat sauce, but the flavor just isn't really there. Just feels a bit like watery and bland. So I think I'll let it cook for a little bit longer. All right, let's do one more taste test here. Gonna blow it so it's not too hot. Okay. Not bad at all. Honestly, not bad at all. That should pass for a pasta sauce. Get it? Okay, now let's add it to the pasta and eat. So, to plate the pasta, I'm going to put the pasta in there. And actually, to thicken it up a bit, I'm going to add some butter. And what I could do is actually add this butter to the sauce. So you know what? Let's just add butter to the sauce. I think that's a better idea. So then it'll make it a bit more creamy. Let's, I forget the word for when you cook the water out of something. There is a word for it, a cooking term, to make it thicker, but I just cannot remember what that word is. Oh yeah, and the word for when you cook the water out of something, I believe, is reducing. So I'm just gonna let it reduce a bit more to get a bit thicker, and then I think it'll be good to go. All right, so it's reduced a little bit. Now it's time to add the pasta sauce to the pasta. There we go. Looks not, this is a lot of sauce actually. That's probably why I had to add a lot of salt, because the amount of sauce. And the reason, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but the reason why this type of pasta is good for meat sauce is because the meat is able to get like inside the pasta, and the pasta can pick it up. Whereas with spaghetti, if you eat spaghetti with meat sauce, it's a bit difficult because the spaghetti won't pick up any of the sauce, any of the meat, you know? And add an extra dollop on top. All right, so this is my pasta with meat sauce. Let's have a try, and hopefully it's better than the steak that I did a few months ago. It's good. Not the best, but it's not bad. So I'm going to enjoy my dinner now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.